I, female 32, went on an 8-day business trip to Japan. I work as an external consultant for a company. This would be a visit to scale our services. My 3 other colleagues and I would visit, but we would be at the same site for only 2 days until we were spread out to other areas. I was very excited until I told my boyfriend, Brian, 38, of 8 months. His reaction wasn't very positive. I asked what was happening and he said he was spaced out because of situations at his job, but he assured me everything was fine. Days later, he asked if I could take him. This caught me off guard and I said I needed to think about it, and then he said he wanted his daughter to come along. I understand his point. She's a teen, loves anime and has impressive knowledge of some very niche characters. But also I have my own kids, a preschooler and a kindergartner, and I'd rather share that breakthrough with them, although realistically speaking, bringing them would be unprofessional. The client paid for my accommodations, which I had already confirmed. I got a very nice accommodation, but it was definitely booked for a single traveller. My colleagues had other rooms. Bringing his daughter would require a separate bedroom or a suite. I would not go back to cancel on the accommodation or ask for a larger space, unthinkable, or do anything to mess up the schedule. When I told Brian, he said I should be able to ask for some changes. I also realised he wasn't ready to pay for any of this since he would reimburse me later. I'm financially okay, but the whole idea of this trip is to make more money, not spend it, and potentially be unable to recover it. Also, this was never a vacation or anything, and he said things that showed me he didn't understand or believe that my team and I were on a tight schedule. I could surely spend time with him and his daughter after work, but not while bringing them at another time and not in that situation. I didn't ask the client at all because I was embarrassed. Also, I began to worry about his sense of humour. It's not like I've mastered Japanese business etiquette, but I took the time to learn, and Brian sometimes does things that get him in trouble. We would be having dinner with our clients and colleagues, and I could either have him stay at the hotel, not a great way to treat a partner, or bring him along if that was permitted. Awkward, especially if it messed up the accommodation schedule. When I candidly expressed this concern, he got extremely angry and gave me the silent treatment. This stressed me out, and I told him. I left for the airport while he was still not talking to me. We talked only a few times while I was abroad. His daughter didn't reply to any of my messages. I don't know if he falsely told her she was getting an early high school graduation present, trip, or if she was just mad at me. I got hold of a huge plush anime character and took a selfie asking if she liked it. No answer. About 1 or 2 days before I flew back, he started texting me with requests. He wanted me to get XYZ, this and that for his daughter and his nieces. I got very angry because she didn't even reply, but he had no problem asking for more stuff, which put me off. I told him that his daughter never replied to my messages, and he said nothing about it. I ended up silencing his notifications and buying presents only for my family. When I got back, I only wanted to spend time with my kids, since I've never been away from them. I kept putting off seeing Brian until last Friday, when we met for pizza, and he looked uncomfortable. He said I let his daughter down by allowing her to think she was getting the plush toy, and was also in disbelief when I confirmed that I didn't bring her anything. I told him that I didn't think it mattered since she completely blanked me out. We had a back and forth, but there was no resolution. I feel more lost than when this whole thing started. I feel like he thinks a gift for his daughter was the solution to everything, and I disagree. I'm doing my best to create a good future, and I'm on the fence about continuing the relationship. I care about him and his kid, but I'm afraid of being used or dragged down, and the way he pressured me made me really uncomfortable. I'm also a bit hurt because I'd built a relationship with his daughter, and not getting a single reply to my messages is honestly a bad look. I'm tempted to think that she's either angry because I didn't agree to bring them along, or that maybe he told her to ignore me. I plan on ending things because I need clarity, but I may be being unfair. I think there's the possibility that he got overly excited and got carried away, but I know he will likely be unable to pay me back. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This is way too much drama for 8 months. I'm glad you didn't get suckered into paying for his trip to Japan, but I'm surprised you're still talking to him. Lose the mooch. He's 38 but acting like he's 16 years old. You don't need high school drama in your life when you can have a relationship with a mature man who actually acts his age and makes good decisions. I was getting more stressed reading this until the second to last paragraph when I realized they don't live together. Fantastic. She can just walk away. Also sounds like the daughter is following boyfriend's example. Does OP really want to deal with this immaturity for the rest of her life? Why is OP even with this loser? He sounds like a selfish idiot and a control freak, who's desperately trying to take advantage of OP, and only after 8 short months of a so-called relationship, OP is not the idiot, but only if she dumps this horrid lump and gains some self-esteem. Yeah, I couldn't believe a 38-year-old moron did this much drama with someone he'd only been with for 8 months. I think it's been at least 2 decades since he stopped growing mentally. He first invited himself and his kid on OP's dime to a work event in a different country. Dude has no concept of appropriate, and his daughter learnt the same from him. I wouldn't even meet up to break up. Just text, "Your behaviour has ruined this relationship, I'm done, I'll box up your stuff." Update: am I the idiot for refusing to buy my boyfriend's daughter a gift? Thanks to everyone for their advice and input. I just wanted to clarify about the plush toy incident. His daughter and I spent time together, some afternoons after school while he was at work. I did give her spontaneous gifts that she enjoyed. We'd email and text each other during her time with her mom, joint custody. When I sent the toy picture, I wanted to know if it was up her alley. I would have bought it if she said she liked it, but I got the silent treatment instead. I know some of you think I was wrong for not bringing her anything, but part of my decision to leave him comes from feeling like they acted like an exclusive clique where others can't be accepted unless they give to them. She left me on scene and left me asking, "Hello," like an idiot. We broke up last night. He wanted to come to my place, but I didn't allow it. I drove to his place instead and delivered 2 packages that had been delivered to my P.O. box. I told him that I would return any mail or package addressed to him from now on. I didn't get out of my vehicle. The conversation was very short, but very sour. I told him he acted too greedy and conceited for me to feel any interest in prolonging the relationship. He tried to explain that his daughter was hurt because she had her hopes set on the trip, but I said this was a lesson for her so that she learns to work for her own things when she becomes an adult, instead of piggybacking her way. And also that this is on him as a father. I took off to avoid more back and forth. I asked him never to contact me again and blocked them both. I already changed my locks, changed all my streaming passwords, etc. Thanks. I, 38 female, have been married to my husband for over a decade and helped raise his son Jake, fake name, 18, since he was 8. I've been there for him through everything, such as school problems, breakups, late night breakdowns, you name it. I'm not his biological mom, but I've acted like a parent in every way that counts. A week ago, Jake came to us and admitted his girlfriend, a teen, is pregnant. He was totally panicked, spiraling, which is understandable. What wasn't understandable was how fast he started planning his escape. He said things like, "I didn't sign up for this. She can figure it out herself. I'm not ruining my future because she won't get rid of it." I shut that down immediately. I told him in no uncertain terms, "You don't get to disappear. You made this bed. You don't have to marry her or stay in a relationship you don't want, but you will be emotionally and financially responsible. She didn't get pregnant by herself. You don't get to screw someone and then vanish when the consequences show up." The next day, his girlfriend came over sobbing. She said Jake dumped her by text and told her he wanted nothing to do with this and left her to deal with the fallout alone. She's terrified, heartbroken, and feels completely abandoned. And frankly, she has every right to be. I went to Jake and told him I was disgusted. I told him that walking away from a girl he got pregnant wasn't just selfish, it was pathetic. He lost it on me and said I'm forcing him to be a father and ruining his life. I told him flat out that biology already made him a father. What he does now is just decide whether he's a deadbeat one or not. Now he won't talk to me. His dad is sitting on his hands saying he needs space, and some of his family, who never liked me anyway, are suddenly real loud about how I overstepped and should have let his real parents handle it. Well, where the heck are they? Because last I checked, the only one actually talking to this crying pregnant girl was me. I discussed options with her, such as adoption and abortion. I made it clear that my son would be paying the cost if she chose an abortion. I don't care about being the villain in Jake's pity story. I care that he created a life and now wants to pretend it never happened. So am I the idiot for getting in his face, telling him he doesn't get to bail, and refusing to let him slide into deadbeat dad mode just because I'm not his real mom? Not the idiot. I hope Dad gets off his hands and onto your side really quickly. What a family of cowards otherwise. Good for you for being the only one speaking truth to Jake. It astounds me that 18-year-olds these days can be so dumb, especially with access to so much knowledge on the internet. There aren't many excuses for being stupid these days. Yeah, it's pretty clear where Jake gets his guts from. OP, his dad should be doing all of this. Why isn't he? Tell your husband to wake the heck up. Or are you just okay with staying with a man who thinks it's okay for his son to be a deadbeat? He doesn't get to stay shocked. He's a parent. He needs to do his job. Maybe Dad is 36 years old and twiddling his thumbs, thinking back to when he was 18 and had Jake. He doesn't want to face up to what is happening. Dad's not taking responsibility for his own child. Your son is a problem if his son has been raised like this. This is not on the stepson's mother, it's on him. She may also be a problem, but it's your husband you should be concerned with, as you made the decision to spend your life with this man, and in a decade of marriage have not seen it. My 21 male girlfriend, 20 female, and I had plans for her to visit me. A few days before, I found out I had a job interview scheduled around the same time she'd arrive. I told her I couldn't pick her up immediately because I needed time to get home, change, and be at the interview 20 minutes early. The location isn't walkable, and I rely on internal transport provided by the company. She got upset and said I should have just asked someone else to pick her up or taken time off work, even though I'd already explained I couldn't. I told her that I'd be getting new vacation days in my new job anyway, but she kept pushing the point. Eventually, she said I should ask my mom to get her. I told her to ask herself since she needed the ride. She got even more upset, saying it's my responsibility and that I should have planned better. It escalated quickly. She said I don't care that I treat her badly in front of my family, and I'm a bad boyfriend for not handling it. I was stressed, trying to focus on this interview, and snapped a bit, saying things like, "Stop annoying me," and "Why are you even coming then?" Now she says I was disrespectful and rude and that she did nothing wrong. She's not talking to me and says I made her feel like a burden. So, am I the idiot for not picking her up and telling her to ask someone else if she wanted a ride? Edit for context and clarification, we've been together for 5 years and she's very familiar with where I live. She has a public transport card that lets her ride buses for free. There's a direct bus line from the station to just a few minutes from my door. She's used that route before, this wasn't her first time coming here. The job interview was scheduled last minute and I was under pressure trying to prepare and manage timing. A 20-year-old girlfriend who can't navigate her way to your house? Not the idiot. I bet if it were one of her friends she was visiting, she would have been able to find her own way there. This could be a glimpse into your future. Is this really how you want it to be? Oof, it's not about the ride, dude. Nope. Sorry, it's not that it's your responsibility to fetch her, it's that you left her hanging and told her to figure it out for herself. On top of that, if it's your mom that needs calling, you call her. That's the division of emotional labor in relationships. Everybody handles talking to their own family members. It's about united fronts, taking one for the team, all that jazz. You should have called your mom and asked her to do you a favor and get your girlfriend because you said you would and can't. You shouldn't have expected her to ask your mother to pick her up. You are the idiot. You're right about this in principle, but I have to say, OP's girlfriend is going straight for, well, if you can't pick me up, how are you going to solve this problem? It just rubs me the wrong way. This isn't us versus the problem. This smacks way too much of damsel in distress for my taste. Don't know if OP likes that in his girlfriend, and it would be far too needy for my taste. I prefer a more equal life partner. Right? She's grown. She doesn't need her hand held all the time. She has a public transport card that lets her ride buses for free. Like, what's her excuse now? She just wanted to be prioritized over everything in OP's life, even if that job was on the line. OP, yes, we can all be a bit kinder in our relationships, but that's a two-way street, not one where kindness is wrung out of one person only. Talk to her about respecting your job. If she accepts her fault, then it's okay. I, male 50, have been dating my girlfriend, we'll call Sarah, 45, for a little over a year. I have 2 kids, a daughter, teen, and a son, young teen. When my daughter was a preschooler, she almost drowned during swimming lessons and has since had an extreme phobia of water. It's bad to the point she won't even take baths, only showers. My son knows how to swim and is a good swimmer, but my daughter, being the older sister, is protective of her younger brother even when it comes to swimming and the water. Sarah's parents have a pool at their house. Today we went over for a pool party to celebrate the birthdays of one of Sarah's nephews, who's become good friends with my son. I told my daughter multiple times she didn't have to go, that I'll check in with her, and she can just relax at home or hang out with friends. She insisted she went to the pool party. My daughter always tends to get on edge and even a little irritable when near water. Today was no different. To anyone who didn't know, She would have seemed like a moody teenager bossing her brother around. Sarah started getting on my daughter for bossing her brother around. Eventually, my daughter got irritated and loudly yelled at her, "I don't want my brother to drown." She then ran out crying. Sarah looked at me so confused. I quietly explained my daughter's experience at 4 and that she had a phobia of water. Sarah got really mad at me for not telling her. I explained that it's not something my daughter is proud of, that she can't swim and has a fear of water, and that I'm not going to be telling everyone because it's not my place. My daughter is old enough to explain that to people if she wants to. Sarah ended up calling me a horrible dad and an idiot for not explaining that and letting people think my daughter is just a moody teen. I ended up just leaving and taking my kids home. We haven't talked since, and Sarah told me to leave her alone for a few days. Am I the idiot for not telling my girlfriend about my daughter's phobia? You are the idiot for sure. Your daughter, a teenager, is still very much your responsibility. Therefore, you're in charge of keeping her safe. If you do not disclose this information to the people you keep around her, something can happen. How do you think Sarah would feel if there'd been an accident due to her ignorance of the phobia? She's your partner, who will presumably spend a lot of time with your kids. Also, have you taken your daughter to therapy to process her trauma? If not, that makes you an even bigger idiot. Can you imagine the trauma if someone pushed her into the pool? Especially if other kids are around, even adults. It's such a thing for people to push each other in for a laugh. Grew up with a pool, and yeah, this was a common thing. Heck, my granddad actually tripped next to the pool and fell in. You gotta be aware if someone has a phobia and/or cannot swim. You are the idiot, dude. You knew enough to second-guess your daughter's decision to go and set your girlfriend up for failure when you didn't step in when the irrational behavior from your daughter started to happen. You're sitting there watching this dumpster fire happen, and you're waiting on your daughter, who's in panic mode, to explain the situation to your girlfriend. Come on, guy, this situation required an adult, and you failed.